Well, there seems to be a cross-country agreement, an agreement that is kept hidden, and yet most in Washington and Pakistan, at least, know all about it. I'm talking about drone strikes in Pakistan. U.S. leaders don't speak much about it, citing security reasons, and Pakistan, while simultaneously condemning the strikes, still allow them to happen for the most part. Now, drone strikes target al-Qaeda and Taliban militants living in some of these tribal areas along the Afghan border. But for the first time, President Obama just admitted it's not only the bad guys who are getting killed.
I want to make sure that people understand actually drones have not caused a huge number of civilian casualties. For the most part, they have been very precise, precision strikes against al-Qaeda and their affiliates. And we are very careful in terms of how it's been applied. So I think that there's this perception somehow that we're just sending in a whole bunch of strikes willy-nilly. This is a targeted, focused effort.
So for the first time, President Obama actually talking about these strikes, saying not too many people are killed, but it goes a little deeper than this. And I want to take a look at some actual numbers here that the president didn't mention. This is according to a report put together by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. Between 2,000 and 3,000 people have been killed by drones in Pakistan. And of those, as many as 780 are civilians. 175 have been children. And of the 312 drone strikes that have taken place, President Obama has issued 260 of them. Some important numbers here, and to discuss this is Michael Maloof, former Pentagon official, here in studio with me. Michael, talk about what we just heard from President Obama. I think it's pretty interesting, the fact that he actually answered a question about it, because this is new, but still doesn't seem to want to admit, for the most part, what we're seeing in these numbers.
Well, it's an open secret. It's been an open secret. The Pakistanis certainly know about it. And it actually is beyond, the policy is beyond just Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's also now into Yemen. They've been using them in Yemen. A lot of civilians have been killed there as well. And it is taking a terrifying toll even on civilians, and that's probably one of the major opposition points from the Pakistanis on how many civilians it has been killing. When you're guiding these drones from a half a world away, even though they take off from Afghanistan, what have you, it's difficult sometimes to identify the target from that distance.
And yet, I mean, if you think about some of the people that actually are targeted in Pakistan, there doesn't seem to be, at least for the missions at hand, a lot of other options. It's not like you can send in boots on the ground, right, or troops to get these people. So I guess I want to know from you what you say. There's more to the story, though. I have a lot of friends, a lot of people I know, intelligent people, who say, you know, drones seem to be a great idea because fewer people, fewer civilians, fewer troops are killed. But what's the rest of the story here? It's
really representing a new concept in warfare that we're getting into, which we might call sixth generation. Even the Russian military is looking at this, where you can fight from afar, standoff warfare, and not commit a lot of troops. And indeed, the fact that we're actually cutting back on troop strengths indicates that we're not going to be fielding tremendous armies like we used to. It's going to be much more unconventional, asymmetric, and the use of drones and other means of standoff warfare is going to be the norm. And frankly, it requires a lot of advanced technologies, which even that are still in the development stage. And you see the Russian military looking at this very, very seriously as well.
But it seems to me that, you know, it not only succeeds perhaps in killing some of the people that are targeted, it also gives this country kind of a bad reputation.
Well, it really is a declaration of war without declaring it as such. And when you're surprised and hit from afar, and if you're an innocent target on the ground, it's going to cause major repercussions politically. Let me talk about real quick, because this is something that I don't think is talked about very much, and that is the legal implications here. There are many who suggest that, okay, here's what I understand. Targeted killing is lawful if the suspects are directly participating in hostilities, or if the target poses an imminent threat. However, if people are being killed because they're believed to be associated with terrorist groups,
I think that violates international law, but nobody's kind of speaking up or enforcing it.
Well, they've been silent about that, and again, it gets to whether or not you have a declaration of war. And secondly, when you hit a compound which has a lot of women and children associated with the target that's there, you're going to have so-called collateral damage, and that is something that legally is.
So there needs to be a declaration of war before any sort of legal implications.
You need something from the Congress if you're really going to go after targets like this, and knowing what the implications are going to be with respect to the outcome of the devastation, namely other innocent women and children, especially.
Yeah, it seems to me that, this president and many before him don't seem to declare war, even though a lot of acts that occur seem to sort of resemble it. Interesting stuff. Former Pentagon official Michael Maloof.